Morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where I live stream every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. For those of you that are new, my name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational online resource for teaching people about behavior through working with animals. We focus on helping animals and people learn with respect, trust, and using the science of behavior called applied behavior analysis. Our teaching and guidance services are both virtual and in person. We teach people how to empower and enrich animals' lives through modifying behavior, teaching new behaviors, and trust through understanding the science of behavior without the need for force or aversives, because when we know better, we do better. You can find out more on our website, because it's not just me. It takes a team to build an expert, not an individual. It also takes history of education to build an expert and not an individual. You can find out more about our services on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. You can also reach me personally. Good morning, everybody. At Laura, Lara, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. And on our website, you'll find out about our memberships, our different live streaming services, our events, our blog, and that's where you can find our contact information. So, with that being said, I wanted to talk today about the topic of getting into this field. I titled it Don't Do It for the Money, because when you show that your passion and your passion will shine through, you have to be in this for the right reasons. Show your enthusiasm. I know I've gotten a lot of feedback this past couple of weeks through my live streaming classes with people mentioning about my enthusiasm, and that can't be fake. It has to be real, and you will show that it's real through the work that you do. I know a lot of times when I look at animal enclosures, I'm always looking at how can I make this better? How can I make this better for the animal? And what is your mission? You need to define what your mission is. And then follow it, because once you have a mission, you will develop a clear line of goals, and being able to stick to those goals. And if you're focusing on the money and the money only, number one, you just don't get into this field for the money. You have to get in it for the passion, because it'll show. And you have to always want to do better for the animal. And what is your goal? Like, my goal is educating others how to interact with animals using applied behavior analysis, the science of behavior, because we focus on not only positive reinforcement, but the actual science of behavior and animal welfare, and having those animals thrive in their environments. First and foremost, I want the animal to thrive. Second is the education and showing others how to do better. I know we have a lot of interns that come through, and all of our whole staff at the center. If you're not in it for the mission of animal welfare and having the animals thrive, you're just not going to cut it at our center, because it is a lot of hard work. And I haven't had 2 days off in a row, and I don't know how long. And I don't care. I know when I'm working on a project at work, like a new enclosure, like this one I'm showing right now, um, I can't wait to get back to work, because work is not a 4-letter word. um, like I say before, when you have your own business, every day is a Monday. When you love what you do, every day is a Friday. Robin says, none of us are getting rich. It's about the passion. The reinforcement for our behavior is good welfare for the animals. Exactly. So me and my staff have been working the past several weeks very hard, and we have people that have other jobs that are working full time, and then they come in here on their days off to put in more than 8 hours a day. And this is hard labor. You're working in the sun, you're working in the rain, in the elements. 2 weeks ago, we were all outside digging a big gator pond in the pouring down rain. So need to focus on your mission. And when we were, the picture that I'm showing here is just a temporary area for my alligators, Elvis and Priscilla, to get them out in the sunshine. You'll see behind they have their small temporary pools that we keep them in. This enclosure is going to be over twice the size of what they're in now, but my workers are there focusing right now on digging this pond. We have it lined, we're getting it filled, we're putting in a waterfall, and it's for these two gators, and it's set up for safety, welfare. When I'm working with an animal, and especially when people are watching, I'm always checking in the back of my head. Are you educating? Are you educating the public? How are you educating the public? And depending on what you're educating and how you're educating, your mission is going to come through. I'm very passionate about the individual animal. I've seen people get in this field for all the wrong reasons. And when you're in it for all the wrong reasons, you're going to constantly struggle. When you're in it for the reasons for animal welfare, it's going to shine through, and you'll see the animals will trust you. You earn their trust. You'll also see that you build a following, and those following are your supporters. And they will help you along with your mission. Dr. Jason Crean says, agree with Robin. I started biodiversity bird blends because it was needed. And though it's a huge amount of work, it's all about the mission and improving the lives of the birds/animals we keep. So when we were done getting these alligators out last week, I had so many of the staff come to me, and I saw the smiles on their faces. I got the text after we were done and we were all home saying what a fabulous day this was. And I wanted them to be a part of this and be involved in this move because I knew it would be a positive reinforcer for them, for all the serious hours they had put into this. And then to be able to go back here and see these gators moving and using the environment that we built for them, the temporary environment. And I even got a phone call afterwards, a couple hours after, saying, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of this and a part of this day. And this person said, I believe wholeheartedly in your mission, and I am a huge supporter. So you will have your setbacks. There will be challenges. When you have your setbacks, it builds your perseverance, and you find a way to get through those challenges, and those challenges become easier. I have so many people that come into the center, and one of the things they want to see me work with is Stan, the fish. And I say it like that because this is a fish that came with the house that I bought, that was going to be left. I was told they don't want the fish. Will I take it? And I'm sitting here thinking, I don't really want a fish. I take on each animal very seriously because I have to know about and be able to provide the veterinary care, the food, the environment, the enrichment. Then I've got to learn about the animal's behavior, and I learn that through training, and that's why I train, and it can be pretty intense. It can take a lot of time and a lot of work. But I'll tell you what, watching Stan, and it's really cool because I'm opening up people's eyes through training a fish. And in this photo, I'm training him to station, which he swims up into my hand and then he stays there and then till I cue him to do otherwise. And if you got the email newsletter last night, you'll see how I trained him to back up on cue. When people see this, it opens their eyes and they're like, wow, I didn't know an animal could do this. And somebody help me out here because there's a term for this where people, human primates, think they're the smartest animals on the earth, and they think that, and how we think we know better than any other animal. What is that term called? I can't remember. If somebody can post that. Um, but when we train and we train like this, we can show people, yeah, you weren't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it either. What can we learn from this? Where can we go from here? And how can we make animal environments better? Tree says arrogance. That too. But there is a term for the word I'm thinking of, and if somebody reminds me, I will look it up. And I think I learned about it from Franz de Waal's book. Which one? Which book was that called? Do we know and are we smart enough to know how smart animals are? Um, a lot of these animals have a longer line of evolution than we are, so that needs to be taken into account. And when your passion is your driving force behind the work you do, um, monetary gains become secondary. Um, I would say, I mean, how do I have a staff that has stayed with me um, all of these years and they keep coming back for more and more because we're watching these animals grow and thrive? Hillary says superiority complex. Maybe that's it, but there's a word out there, and I think it starts with an A. Tree says, are you think of anthropomorphism? No, I'm not. Jason says, welt. I don't even know what that means. I'm going to have to look that up. But I will make a note to look this up. But everything else becomes secondary. And I even got a couple of texts this week or emails because I asked for feedback from my drop-in classes. And a couple of them, I'm like, wow, those are great testimonials behind the work, the passion. I was told, you are so passionate about your work and enthusiastic. It makes learning from you fun and intriguing and keeps coming back. So, and like I said, I think some of my best I know some of my best teachers are these animals. And I need to make sure, and everybody should be making sure, when you get into this field, check your ego in at the door. I was just listening to a podcast the other day about somebody who's been in this field for 35, 40 years. And she was saying when she didn't know better years ago, she was wrangling some kind of hoof stock with horns. And she was making the comment that she went in and grabbed this animal by both of his horns. And she was like, look what I did. And how she wished she would have known better then, because it wasn't about, look how I can control this animal. And she was talking about now how when we know better, we respect the animal, we take the time to learn from the animal. And like Dr. Jason Crean says, it's not just about seeing an animal survive. It's about seeing an animal thrive. And that should be basis and the foundation behind the work we do, and we can watch them thrive in so many ways. This is DC. This is a parrot that is here at the Animal Behavior Center for training. Um, and this is a snapshot from a video of me getting him into the aviary for the first time, into our aviary for the first time. We've had him for a year and a half. And seeing our staff really on a mission. We were talking yesterday, and sometime these conversations get really energized on, because I was saying, this is what I want to see next. I want to see this. We've got all these animals that we've got to arrange their environments, build all these amazing environments, and we are. It's taken so much time, it takes so much manpower, but to see this animal in these enclosures where they're experiencing something for the first time in their lives, I'm like, "Hey, hang on, sweetheart, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see what's coming next." I know, several years ago, about 15 years ago, somebody told me, you cannot just build one enclosure. You have to keep building bigger enclosures. And I was like, well, because I'm learning from the animal. I want to see, my main competitor is Mother Nature. And beat, I will never match or beat her, but there's nothing wrong with setting that bar so high that you never stop striving to reach it. And I will say, my mom told me, I remember when I was in high school and I was trying to figure out what field I wanted to get into. I knew I wanted to go into working with animals, and I thought I wanted to be a biologist. And I remember, and then I wanted to be a marine biologist. And I asked my mom, Emma, do you think I'm smart enough to get into this? And my mom, who was a very wise woman, told me, when you set your sights on something and you want it bad enough, you will get it. And my sister Sheila, who's not watching this morning for the first time in a couple weeks, she told me a couple weeks ago, I can't remember exactly what she said. She said, "You are such a badass." And I was like, well, I don't really know how to take that. What do you mean? And she goes, when you see something you want, you get it. And I've been thinking about that all week. And that doesn't mean I get everything I want. I will set my sights on certain goals and I will think, why do I want to reach this goal? Why do I want this so bad? Why am I in this? And when I find I'm in it for all the right reasons in my head, which is usually always the animal's best interest, then I make that decision, let's go for it. And then I gather my team. And I'm not talking just locally, I'm talking from everywhere, and help me get this done. And I do. In the end result we're staring at on the screen in the past 3 slides, it's all for them. So when you're in it for the right reasons, it will show. Your passion will shine through, and your followers will support you. And by followers, I mean those who are on the same mission as you. So with that being said, I'll end because I got to get back out because we're working on a couple big projects today, and I will update you. Our live drop-in classes are going fabulously, and we're getting ready to schedule the ones for June. So stay tuned. There are going to be a couple topics in June that are important that people have begged me to talk about, and I will be discussing for the first time in a live stream. So you can find those on our website, and pay close attention to the Sam I Can Foundation's Facebook page. We are getting ready to have an event, our very first event. And if you want to attend, you will be notified through the Sam I Can Foundation, which is our nonprofit, our email newsletter list. So that I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for all your support over the years and your continuing support. And let me know how I can help you, because I will. And I'll see you next Sunday. All right. Take care, everybody.